everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Affirmation Addict podcast. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you my emergency toolkit for when I feel anxiety coming on strong. Now, this emergency toolkit is something I pick from, whether I pick all of them or I pick just some of them. So I wanted to just share a couple of my favorite go-to tools and tricks to help me calm my anxiety down if it ever creeps up, because I know how it feels to just feel that anxiety kind of crawling up you, the pit in your stomach, the nervousness, the warmth. I know that feeling, guys. And so that's why I wanted to share with you my emergency toolkit that I use and pick out of whenever I need it. So grab your journal if you need to take some notes and enjoy this episode. You're listening to the Affirmation Addict podcast with Payal Agarwal. This podcast will teach you about the power of affirmations while making manifestation easy and accessible for you in order to enhance your spiritual consciousness. Thank you so much for being here, and I'm so excited to dive into today's episode. Actually, wait, before we get started, I wanted to check with you. Have you heard about my new app? It's called Affirmate, and it's your one-stop shop for all things affirmations, manifestation, and self-healing. I really have been wanting to create something for you that truly empowers you to realize that you genuinely have everything you need within you. You don't need me. You don't need any other coaches. This app genuinely has everything you need to get that life that you've been trying to manifest. And it has gentle daily reminders, guided audio affirmations, sleep affirmations, affirmation reminders, and so much more good information, good energy, and so many things that I know will help you manifest your dreams. Because I'm so grateful for you, I'm actually offering you a free 7-day trial. And this is a genuine 7-day trial. That means you don't have to type in your credit card. You won't be automatically charged. There's no ads, and you get complete access to the app as if you've already subscribed to it. So if you do want to learn more about the app, head over to affirmation-addict.com/app, or if you're ready to dive in, head over to the iTunes App Store and search for Affirm It. The Android version will be coming soon, and as soon as it's ready, I'll be sure to let you know. Now we can officially dive into today's episode. Welcome back to another episode of the Affirmation Addict podcast. So let's talk anxiety. And before we get into my emergency toolkit for anxiety, I just want to preface with anxiety is, for me, something that has taught me so much over the years. And it's been one of my biggest learning lessons, because I didn't even know what I was experiencing was anxiety until just 1 year ago. I finally connected all the dots of my childhood, my breathing, my wheezing, my inability to stop crying. I finally connected those dots and realized I have been dealing with anxiety for such a long time, but I was never on medication for it. I never kind of went to see anybody for it. And I finally think I really have been able to figure out a perfect way to monitor and manage my anxiety through natural ways by doing it myself. And so if you are suffering from anxiety, I want you to know that this toolkit, please try this out, take from it, and try using it yourself and creating your own emergency toolkit. Because this toolkit, I literally wrote it down and made like a little pouch in my house for it, because it's just so soothing to know that, hey, if something happens, I know where I can go to get what I need to feel better. It's just nice to have that kind of like a first aid kit, but this is my emergency toolkit for anxiety. So it's really nice to have. And I'm just going to list out some of the things I do, and these are in no particular order. These are all super helpful to just try and go through if you are experiencing anxiety. So the first thing I do, not to be biased, is I start to say affirmations to myself. And I do this in two ways. I do this whether I'm just sitting there and I start to just say, I am calm, I can handle this, I am safe. My anxiety is really triggered from just being overwhelmed and not feeling like I can handle something. So that's why when I say I am calm, I am safe, and I can handle this, it makes me feel like I got this. I'm secure, I can get through this. So I repeat that to myself mentally or or out loud over and over. And sometimes just doing that will help that feeling subside. But sometimes I combine it with breathing. And this is going into kind of item number 2 in my toolkit, and that is your breath. Your breath is something that you always have with you. And when you start to get anxiety or you're experiencing an anxiety attack, you'll realize your breath gets super short. For me, I remember my breath would get so short, I would almost not be able to breathe because it was so short. So my dad would have to literally help me breathe by like telling me, breathe in, breathe out, and rubbing my back and calming me down. I remember that so vividly. And so what I like to do with my breath is I try and say, I inhale calm, I exhale fear. I inhale calm, I exhale anxiety. Whatever words are coming to you, just controlling your breath with your slow words and your affirmations really makes a difference. I know in those moments, it might feel like you can't do it. It might feel like it's not going to do anything, but I promise just snapping out of your own head and doing something a little different makes the world of a difference during or right before an anxiety attack. For me, the number 3 thing I like to do is play with my crystals. I have lots of different crystals, and there's no good crystal for this, in my opinion. I believe all crystals are super healing. So I love just playing with my crystals because it's nice to put your attention externally. Sometimes when you're having an anxiety attack, it's overwhelming to feel like you have to calm yourself down. So that's why I like reaching for external tools, such as crystals or essential oils. It's almost like distracting myself to focus on something else that can help heal me. So I love playing with my crystals, whether that is just holding it in my hand, or I have smaller ones that I can put on my different center points, or even just on my heart or in my hands. And just looking at them to me is so calming in those moments of just extreme anxiety. That is a really fun thing you can do. Some of my favorite crystals that I always have are rose quartz, clear quartz, citrine. Those are super easily accessible, but there's some even kind of less easy to find crystals you can use for anxiety. And I highly recommend researching this beforehand. And when buying crystals, I really recommend going with your intuition. Don't go off the Google meaning, go off of your intuition for which one you're most drawn to. That's what I like to do. The next thing I like to do is play with my essential oils. So essential oils are a huge part of my routine that I am honestly constantly using, and they have natural healing energy because they are made from Earth's natural elements. But the really important thing I like doing is I like smelling the ones that make me happy. So for me, it's rose, and I really also love, it's one called Siberian fir, and it smells like nature. So those two for me are so calming, and like I feel like I can take a full breath whenever I just smell those, because the power of the nose is really strong. So really developing and leveraging that sense of yours can really help and shift your energy and your anxiety. A lot of people say lavender is good for anxiety, or even peppermint, but sometimes those don't feel good to me. So I prefer to go for the one that I always love, which is rose or Siberian fir. Another thing I like to do is just cry it out. It's not worth it to try and stay strong and hold your tears. And tears are a way of releasing. It needs to get out of your body. So sometimes you just got to cry, and that's okay. I can't tell you how many times I just let myself cry throughout the day or throughout the week, throughout whatever I'm going through, because it's just a quick release and I feel so much better afterwards. Yes, crying can be seen as weak or not enough or like you're a baby, but that could not matter less, because when you cry, you are releasing, and your tears are literally energetically carrying out the molecules that do not serve you. That's the beauty of tears. Not just you're like a baby, you are releasing the molecules that are not serving you. And to me, the reason babies cry so much is because they're trying to release all the beliefs that they're learning as they're little, but they just can't. They have to adapt at some point through survival. But the babies are releasing the things they're learning from the parents, from their society, the world around them, because they're trying to release what's not serving them. That's why babies do cry so much, because they come from that super pure energy. So crying is not a bad thing. It's just a way of releasing. Another thing I really love to do is to call somebody I love, whether that is Tom, my mom, my brother, my dad. I love calling the people who I know won't judge me and will be there for me. And it really helps me with my anxiety. Even if I'm just there on the phone with them breathing, sometimes it's really nice to just feel like someone else is there for you. You don't have to be the answer to all your problems. If you need somebody, use your community and use that support. Another thing I love doing is playing my sound healing. I have a Spotify playlist that I use, or in my app, I have affirmations with sound healing on them. And if I don't feel good, I start to just play that and tune into that completely. And it really takes me into a meditative and calming state. It's so nice to just let yourself, this like similar to essential oils, let your ears, let your hearing sense take over and just release and focus on something else. And the last thing I want to say with this emergency toolkit is play around with it, journal it out, and let your feelings be expressed. Talk to your anxiety. That's what I do. That's the biggest thing that's helped me, is speaking to my anxiety. Instead of running away from it, trying to patch it up, I like facing it full forward and full on front facing. It is so powerful to just write a letter to your anxiety and talk to it and say, what are you trying to teach me? What are you craving for? Talk to that anxiety in your journal, and it's so beautiful to see what comes out. Things you wouldn't even know are bothering you come out. So that is my emergency toolkit for anxiety, which includes things like affirmation, breathing, going outside, playing with crystals, calling my family, crying it out, playing sound healing, playing with essential oils. All of those are just a small part of my emergency toolkit that's been my trusted toolkit. And it's so powerful to just figure out what works for you. Maybe for you, going outside or going by water specifically, or opening a window, or maybe cooking. Whatever works for you, put that in your toolkit and keep it somewhere handy to remind you when you don't know what to do and you can't think straight, that these things are there for you. So I hope this little episode helped you. I hope you can take away from this toolkit and use this in your own life to help you manage and conquer your anxiety, just like I did, because I promise you it is so possible. You just have to trust that you can do it. So I love you, and I'm sending you so much healing energy, and I absolutely love you, and I'm grateful for you being here. Thank you. Talk to you soon. So, how did you like today's episode? I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed recording it. And before you leave, I wanted to just say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for spending some time with me. If this episode or any of my content has ever inspired you, it would mean the absolute world to me if you could leave a review in the iTunes podcast app and just share this with someone you care about. The more you guys leave reviews and share this with people, the more I am able to create more content for you, and that's what fuels me and keeps me going. I am so genuinely grateful for the time we shared today, and until next time, I'm sending you lots of love and lots of healing energy. Bye!